So what caused you to start to want to do music?
Well, I always, when I was little, I always would try to make these like, little melodies in my head. And so, but I never really thought anything. I never would have thought like I was going to try to pursue music when I was little. But then around the age of 13, I was watching the Epic Rap Battles of History because that was what was popping when I was 13 years old. And so, in one of the lines in one of the rap battles, they said, this beat was made on Fruity Loops or something along those lines. And I was like, oh, what? This like there's a Fruity Loops kind of thing. So I finally found the name of like a digital audio workstation because I didn't know any names aside from GarageBand. And actually, when I was little, I used to fiddle with GarageBand a little bit, but I didn't really know what I was doing because I was like 9 years old. So then I downloaded Fruity Loops, FL Studio. I got like this free giveaway or something, and then I just started kind of messing around with it, YouTube tutorials, and then I just kind of progressively got better with it. And then after in around 8th grade, end of 8th grade, we had done the rap battle, the T Simp versus Ryan the G rap battle. I won. I wish, but yeah. So that happened, and I started getting into rapping, and that's kind of how I got into hip hop. And then now where we're at, that's really the progression of how I got to where I'm at.
So what would you call your role in music at the moment?
I would call my role the producer. Like really not just in like a I produce the beats, but just like in like the executive producer, like in how films. They're the guys who make it all happen. I'm the guy that makes it all happen. I'm the one. I don't really want to say I'm the key person there, but I try to set the tone in the room whenever we're recording. I try to be as useful and as handy as possible when it comes to mixing, writing songs with people, making the beats. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to having other people tell me like, hey, I like this, I don't like that. I try not to assume assume total control. I try to assume enough control to where it's not just outrageous.
So where do you see your career in music progressing in the next 5 years and or as a living?
It's hard to say where it's gonna be in 5 years. I mean, things could happen. Who knows? It could take 10 years. I could be 30 years old and just finally get the buzz I need to really be considered famous, or even make it. But I think my goal is to eventually just kind of keep on growing in the local area and then just kind of bursting that little bubble, the local bubble, and just getting more nationwide and worldwide. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I couldn't tell you. It's different for everybody.
Are you hoping to be the next household name?
I don't know. I never really thought about. I mean, I guess I've thought about being famous. I've never thought about like my name being said in like a house, or anywhere like people just knowing me all over the streets. I feel like it would be cool to be recognized. I could also see how that'd be really annoying trying to go to Walmart and have people be like, "Oh my God, it's that one dude, right?" And then me just trying to be like, "Oh no, I'm his lookalike," Like I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to like have like maids go shopping for me. If I want to go to Heinen's and get like a $5 roll or some, I don't know, bag of rolls, I should be able to do that. I don't want like a maid to go buy that kind of stuff for me. I don't know. I would like to have people say my name and like have an image and an idea and not just say who's that. But I don't really want to be just so common. I want to be like a Kardashian, That's stupid.
So where did you get your inspiration for your music? What do you base your music off of?
I just fuck around. I don't know. You can bleep that out. I I listen to music I like, and then I say, wow, that's a good song. I wonder what they did. And my first step will be trying to imitate this song a little bit. And then when I kind of have that down, I use those elements that I kind of imitated in the song. I'll try to use those new elements I've learned and put them in like my own creative way, where I can kind of look at it as my song. Because whenever I imitate a song, I don't like really showing people that or releasing it or anything, because it's not my song. It's like having someone like, it's like me trying to draw my own version of the Mona Lisa and then trying to like say it's my own original painting. I wouldn't do that. So I try to imitate the song, figure out what they did, how they did it, what plugins, like what sounds they used, and then I'll try like take those and use that knowledge and put it in my own way that's original and unique.
So what has been the hardest struggle, the lowest point of your music career at the moment?
The lowest point, oh man, I've had like 5 or 6 of those. My first lowest point was after releasing Oxymoron. That was because I had this whole like build up, like people seemed kind of excited for what I was gonna do at first, and that was a huge letdown. My next lowest point kind of was, I guess, when I dropped Genesis, because that was also another letdown. I just had a huge series of letdowns, I think. And then after that, after Genesis, I got too crazy with recording, and then remember, you kind of got fed up with that a little bit, and that was another huge low point. After that intervention was a huge low point. And then there was a participation award that brought it up a lot, but then as time went on, I kind of looked at it and thought I could have done better, and so I kind of hit a more lower point. And then over the summer, I started getting kind of like, I released a couple songs over the summer, and after I released both of them, I just kind of felt like a little depressed about it. I was like, I don't really like how this is. Like, I just didn't feel good about it after I released them, because I knew like no one really cared anymore. And then I started working with Corbin and Drew and Alex in August, and that was like probably the highest point I had gotten. And then we all kind of just stopped working because school, our lives kind of caught up with us, because in the summer you're not that busy, you know. But when school started, we all just got super crazy busy. And now that football's over with for Corbin, it slowed down a little bit. We finally started working back together, so I'm back at another high point.
So, what was this Oxymoron project, and what was this intervention that you just mentioned?
The Oxymoron project, that was my first ever recorded song I released. How old was I? I was 15 years old. It was my first time being in the booth, and I made this really kind of generic beat. It took me a little bit. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just ignorant. I had no idea what I was doing. Compared to how I am now, I thought I was good at making beats at that time. The beat wasn't that good. My lyrics weren't that good. I just wasn't that as good as I thought I was. And the intervention was, I got a little bit obsessed and crazy and would only hang out with my friends just to make music, but they all weren't about that. And so eventually they were kind of like, dude, we just want to hang out with you, man. We don't always want to do music. And they told me that, and I understood it, because I kind of did feel like I started getting a little crazy with it, but it definitely it was a little depressing, you know.
So how did you work through the discouragement of being put down by your friends, being put down by different people who didn't love your music? How did you work through that? How did you overcome that?
I wouldn't say I have overcome it yet. I mean, I'm still trying to overcome it, and I guess so the whole working through it, I just kind of ignore. I just make stuff I like, and so when I listen to it, I'll hear it and think, wow, I wish, but wow, I'll start kind of imagining people on it and just imagining the future. I'm just really kind of have a lot of foresight, trying to see where I have a lot of vision of where I could be, and I think that's really what's propelling me. I think if I ever lose that, I'm definitely going to be losing music. So my goal is just to not lose that vision and that foresight.
What is the one message that you could give to anybody who has or will listen to your music?
Oh man, the one message. I think the one message I will give would be, it's not for everybody. Also, because it's not for everybody doesn't mean that it's not. Doesn't mean that it's not good. I'm trying to think. Did I word that correctly? I think I might have messed up. Yeah. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it's bad. There you go. We're gonna get rid of those double negatives. Because there's people who don't like Drake. There's people who don't like Kanye. There's people who don't like Eminem. There's people who don't like Nas. People who don't like J. Cole. And there's no one who makes music for everybody. You know, someone's always gonna look at them and be like, nah, they're whack. And I think the thing that's kind of terrifying about that, though, is because if enough people kind of catch on to the whole that's whack just because it's mainstream or just bandwagon on it, regardless of how they actually feel about it, that could tear down careers, which that's kind of the one thing like I'm scared about, which is why I kind of want to say it's not for everybody, because I don't want there to be a whole bandwagon of, oh, he's whack, because that already has happened to me before, and I don't want that to happen again, because that's the worst feeling ever as an artist.